Hi, good afternoon. I'm Chef Hafiz. Okay, so today we're gonna do a fruit cake. We have 3 recipes that we've been given to you. So I'm gonna start with the candied fruit mixture first. So I have orange juice, dry mixed fruit, golden raisin, and lemon and orange. This one I'm just gonna use the zest. Okay, I'm gonna start by adding the orange juice. Okay, and then I will just bring to a boil, and then I will stop. I will off the fire, and then I add this one. So while waiting for the juice to boil, I'm gonna zest orange and lemon into the pot. So if you want to add more flavor for this one, if you like, you can add spice, cinnamon or star anise to give more flavor. Okay, and then lemon, just the skin. Okay, I prefer to zest directly into the pot because if you zest into the bowl first, then you scrape inside, the most flavor will come from the skin, which is the oil. If you pour inside, the oil will stick to the bowl, and then it won't goes inside. So if I do like this straight away, I fully utilize all the flavor. And then for this one, I prefer to do 1 day in advance. To let all the fruits soak all the flavor. If you want to use alcohol for non-Muslim, you can change to rum, also can. Okay, then I add the rest of the mixed fruit and raisin. The dry fruit you can change any kind of fruits that you want, as long as dry, mango, kiwi or pear, depends on you. So I'm just gonna mix well. I boil and then I add this one. Just gonna mix well. After 1 day, the things already absorb all the juice. Okay, and then just gonna transfer into the bowl. So for today, I will prepare earlier yesterday to be easier for us, so I can do straight away. So just like this, cover with plastic, and then you put inside chiller. Okay, this one's done. So this is the one that I prepared earlier yesterday. Okay, you can see all the raisin, the fruits all already been soaked up with the flavor. So before you put inside the cake, what you need to do is to strain all the moisture. Otherwise, all the food gonna sink down because it's too wet. So I'm just gonna sieve and then let it drain. Okay, I'm just gonna put inside just like this. Okay. For the juice, what you can do, if you want, you can make a syrup. Let's say it's 100 gram, you can add 100 gram of sugar to make like a syrup, and then you can brush on top of the cake after you finish. So I'm gonna start with the butter cake mixture. So for this one, we're gonna use a KitchenAid and pedal attachment. Okay. So you have butter, icing sugar is already sieved, whole eggs, tremolin or invert sugar. If you don't have this one, you can change to honey or glucose. It's to give a little bit of humidity inside your cake to like a moist. And then I have a rose flour or pastry flour and baking powder. Okay. To start, I will start with the butter. If you see, the butter is quite soft. It's a room temperature butter. I prefer to have this because the method that I'm using is a creamy method. For creamy method, best to have a soft butter because easier for you to cream the butter after. Okay. I will start with the butter first. I will beat a little bit, few seconds, and then I add the icing sugar and the baking powder and the tremolin. Okay, we start with the icing sugar. You can add part by part or you can add all at once. Okay, I will add half first, so easier for it to incorporate. In order to do creamy method, you need to have fat, which is the butter, and then you need to have the sugar. So you mix both and then you cream until it becomes fluffy and the color is slightly opaque, white, and then it's done. Okay, no more icing sugar, then I will add the rest. If you want to add icing sugar together with the butter earlier, also can, but it's going to take longer time to become fluffy. For this one, maybe take around 3 to 5 minutes. You can see the color of the butter start to change a little bit, start to become a bit white. So it's almost done. So I'm just going to add the tremolin. And then I'm going to continue. Okay, you can scrape the side to make sure it's mixed properly. And then we continue. Okay, it's done. So you can see it's fluffy and white. Okay, because it start to get a bit white because it start to incorporate air inside. So the butter start to get a bit thin. So now next step is to add the eggs. Best to have a room temperature eggs because if it's cold, when you add inside the butter will start to solidify and then it start to look like a split. So best to add a little bit by bit, part by part. Easy for the mixture to emulsify. Okay, when you see it's already mixed, then you can add another one. Let's say your room is very cold. You're going to make your butter become very cold and your eggs. So by the time you add this one inside, the butter will start to solidify, start to become hard into a pieces. So it will split. What you can do is, you take a blowtorch, just touch a little bit on the bowl, okay? When you touch, after you touch, make sure you still can touch, means it's not that hot. It's not too hot. So just to warm back, just to bring down the temperature a little bit. Okay, and then a little bit more. Okay, once a while you can stop and scrape the remaining on the side. Okay, to make sure it's emulsified properly. Okay, now no more butter and no more eggs, then you can add the rest of the eggs, the remaining. Just mix well and then it's okay. So my room temperature now is okay, it's not that cold. So my butter is okay. So just in case to show you, okay, let's say your mixture start to split, what you can do, you put medium speed, number 4, number 5, you on your blowtorch and then you just touch like this a little bit. And then make sure you can hold. After you touch, means the bowl is not too hot. If it's too hot, it's going to start to melt the butter. And then the structure will be completely different. And then when you bake, all the oil will start to come out. Okay? And then make sure you stop when it's not hot or warm anymore. When it's completely room temperature or cold, then you can stop. Okay? Done. Then we're going to add the flour. So for this one, I prefer to add all at once, together with the baking powder, all the dry ingredients. And then I will start slowly. After you add the dry ingredients, just mix well. When you see it's completely clean and smooth, then done, you can stop. You don't have to mix too long, otherwise you're gonna overmix the mixture and then start to create gluten. So what does gluten do to your cake? If you, let's say you mix for another 10 minutes, gluten is an elasticity. It gives texture to your mixture. So if you develop a lot of gluten inside your cake, what happens is your cake gonna become very, very dense, very, very heavy. Okay, you don't want that. So finish. Just remember just to mix well when you add the dry ingredients. Okay, make sure you clean properly. So I'm just gonna put here. If you realize I have a little bit of flour on the side, don't worry, I just use my spatula. I'm just gonna mix by hand. Okay. Now you have your butter cake mixture. Okay. If you don't want to do fruit cake, Just a butter cake, you can bake straight away. Done. Alright, so I'm gonna take back my fruits. So I have my bowls. The one that you sieve, you transfer into another bowl. The juice you can keep if you want to brush as a syrup after. So if you see, it's very wet. What happens is, if you just mix inside and then put inside the mold, when you bake, the mixture gonna become liquid, okay? And then this one is wet and heavy. If you doesn't coat with anything, it's just gonna sink down to the bottom of the mold or your loaf pan. So what you're gonna do, I have a bit of flour here. I'm just gonna add. It doesn't have to scale. I'm just gonna add until it's completely dry. Usually I will check at the bottom of the bowl. When it's completely dry, then it's okay. Okay. Make sure you scrape properly. If you scared you add too much flour, what you can do, you just add slowly. Add the flour slowly, part by part, until it gets dry. You can see now it's completely covered, and the bottom of the bowl is dry. Okay? Right, this one is done. So now time to mix this one inside. Just add all at once. This is okay. And then just fold by hand. Okay. Just mix well. Make sure your fruit is everywhere, and then it's ready. Okay, just like this. So for this one, I'm gonna put inside the mold, which I already prepared earlier. A mold, and then I line parchment paper inside. Okay. So in order to stick the parchment paper, usually I will spray with oil spray. So for this mold, I'm just gonna pipe 60% out of the total mold, the total weight for this mold. So it's gonna be around 600. How to calculate the amount that you want? Usually, you take your mold without the paper, put on a weighing scale, cover full with water. Okay, let's say you get 1,000 gram. So 60% out of 1,000 is 600 gram. So that's how you get your 60%. Okay. Remember, never fill your piping bag more than half, because it will be very hard for you to control. And then when I cut my piping bag, I cut quite big, because I have candied cherry. It's quite big. If you cut too small, later you cannot go out from the piping bag. So I'm just gonna pipe 600 gram straight to the mold. Okay, now it's 300. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Okay, a bit more. Done. So it should be okay. Again, cut. And then you pipe until you got 600 gram. Okay. So I got 600 gram now. So for the top, you make it flat. So by using a spatula, you just run the spatula on the top to make it flat. Okay. And then remember, when you cut the paper, try not to cut lower than the mold, because the paper will help you to remove the cake after from the baking. Just you can see like this. Later when after bake, I can take off easily. Okay, just flat like this. So for this fruit cake, what did I do is, I show you the one that I made earlier. I already have fruits on top. How? I add the fruits before I bake for the top, rather than add last. So I prefer to have the fruit stick now. And then this is very rich. Okay. Arrangement of the fruits is up to you. Type of the fruit also up to you. Depends. If you like more cherries or almond, depends on you. Okay. So I'm just gonna arrange the almond roughly everywhere first. Okay. And I add randomly add the fruits. It's not necessary to use the type of the fruit that I use. You can change, doesn't matter. Okay, try. I prefer to have it full. Then later after bake also, I will add a little bit more fruits. Okay. Then this one done, and then I add walnuts. If you want to change, you want to add whole almond, also can. I like to add nuts to give a bit of texture. Okay. It doesn't have to be completely full, but like this is okay. Okay, so this one I already bake, and then this one is before bake. So for this one, I will bake 145 for 45 minutes with the fruits. Okay, after 45 minutes, you take aluminum foil, just cover the mold on the top, and then I continue for about 45 minutes again. So basically 45, but the temperature will change. So I repeat, 45 minutes, 145, and then another 45 minutes with aluminum foil, 145 also. Okay, so this one we go for baking. So this one is done. So this one you're gonna wait. I'm gonna do the glaze first. So for the glaze, if you check the recipe, you have water, 50 grams of sugar, agar-agar, and then big amount of sugar and glucose. So for these two, you add last. We're going to cook this one first. Okay. So water, and then the sugar and the agar-agar you mix together. Why you have two type of sugar? Two container of sugar, because the agar-agar is very fine. It's super fine. So if you add directly inside, later when you whisk, you start to clump up, and then you have lumps of agar-agar. Then you're not going to mix well. So we add sugar, 10% of sugar. Okay, because when you mix like this, then the agar-agar gonna cover all the sugar. So when you go inside, when you reach the temperature that the sugar melt, and then the agar-agar will dissolve together. Okay, so when you start to see a smoke, you can add the agar-agar. Okay, I have smoke, and I add agar-agar mixture, and then just whisk, and then bring to boil. In order to activate the agar-agar, you need to boil. Okay, I'm just gonna warm the glucose a little bit, so easier to transfer after. So I have the remaining sugar. Why don't I just mix together with the agar-agar? So if I boil this one too early, I might caramelize my sugar, and then my glaze gonna turn color into yellow. So I don't want that. I want my glaze to be transparent. Okay, I already boil, and I add the glucose and the remaining of the sugar. Okay, you can on the heat and then add the rest. Okay, and then just bring to boil to make sure you dissolve all the sugar. I like to use this glaze because base of agar-agar. Some glaze we use gelatin. Gelatin cannot hold too long. Like for this one, it's a travel cake. Usually it will last about 1 week, 2 weeks. It's okay. So if I use gelatin, it might spoil. For this one, I put inside here, and then I let it dry, completely dry, and then I can just keep outside for 1 week or 2 weeks without spoil the things. Okay, and then boil, and then it's done. And then you cool down, and then we're gonna use after. I'm just gonna clear my table first. Okay. Alright, so glaze done, your cakes is done. So now we're gonna decorate this one. So like I told earlier, I need the parchment paper to help me to remove from the mold. Okay, so okay, done, and I move the cake. So basically the same idea is, after you bake your cake, you let it cool down first. After cool, then you can put on the wire rack, and then we're gonna glaze the cake. So before I glaze the cake, I will arrange another layer of fruits to make it more interesting. Okay, I have another here. So I have figs, cherry, I have confit, and pistachio. Okay, and then everything first, and I arrange the fruits. If you guys have any question, don't be shy. You can drop on the comment as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna arrange the remaining fruits. The arrangement of the fruit is up to you. Okay. Okay. So I change the angle. It will be better for you guys to see. Okay. And then I have the orange. The arrangement totally up to you. Okay. And then I just gonna add last the pistachio. If you want to arrange the pistachio earlier, before bake, also can. This one just to give a bit of color. Okay. Then done. Last, like this. I'm just gonna brush the glaze. The glaze, before you use, make sure you boil the glaze because it's agar-agar. If it's just warm, by the time you brush, it's gonna start. Okay, it's gonna become very hard. Okay, I already have my glaze boiled. Okay, so it's very liquid now. So what you can do, just brush, take a brush, and then totally soak the thing. Don't be shy because it's very liquid now. You're gonna sink down, you're gonna go down, don't worry. Okay, totally cover everything. By cover the cake like this, it helps to protect your cake. It's not gonna make your cake dry. Okay, all the moisture gonna remain inside. So because right. Okay, just totally cover. You brush everywhere, all corner. Make sure you have no left part that didn't cover with the glaze. Okay, and then on the side, just brush like this to make it slightly thinner. Okay, now I totally cover the cakes. It's very colorful if you have a lot of color. Then we transfer to a plate. I already prepared my plate here. You take L-shaped spatula or offset and then you're gonna remove. So some part I didn't brush, so just make sure totally brush the glaze. For this one, it's still very wet. It's still very sticky. If I touch, it's gonna stick to my finger. The idea is you just leave at the room temperature about 1 hour or 2 hours. When it's completely dry, when you touch, it will not stick to your hand. So it helps to protect your cake from growing too dry. Okay, I'm just gonna remove. Okay, clean, done. And then just gonna arrange on the plate. Okay, and clear this one. And then last, I have a soft plastic or acetate sheet. I just cut according to the size of the mold, and then we're just gonna cover the side. Okay, so the front is here, so I will start from the back. So I will completely cover the side, and then it helps to protect your cake as well. Okay, done. And then last, I have a school logo. I'm just gonna put like this. So this one I just prepared, and then this one is the one that I make earlier this morning. So this one is completely sticky. Like for this one, if I touch, it doesn't stick to my finger, okay? Because the glaze is already dry. Alright, that's all. If you guys have any question, you can drop on the comment, you can ask, then we will answer you guys. Okay, so far, that's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe our YouTube, okay? And then see you guys next time.